During every parlay, our guest will play some Lego with us. Together, all ecosystem players will have co-created this Lego pirate ship. Welcome back, everybody. Today we have the great honor and pleasure of having Sven from the Antwerp Chamber of Commerce. Sven, what do you guys do?
I work for the Chamber of Commerce in Antwerp. I've been working for the Chamber for the last 17 years and I just love my job. What does the Chamber of Commerce do? We have three main activities. The first one is lobbying, the second one is networking, and the third is services, and I'm responsible for the service department.
What I remember about our first meeting is you mentioned the Antwerp Chamber of Commerce was set up by Napoleon. And one of the things that always inspired me is he did so much without telephone, without email, without WhatsApp, without a telegram, right? Imagine you had this technology 200 years ago, where the world would have been today, and then start to think like, where can the world be in 200 years? It's pretty mind-boggling. And for something to last 200 years, has lasted so much change. And you guys are really gearing up so companies can last the other 200 years.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Well, when Napoleon conquered Europe, when someone foreign conquers a country, you always have to be careful because the citizens of that country are going to oppose you. So if you make sure that people have something to lose, they will be quiet and they won't go for rioting. And so Napoleon thought, well, if I stimulate the economy in all Europe, there are not going to be any riots. So he installed chambers of commerce to improve the economic situation in the different regions. And so that's a long time ago, the Chamber of Commerce in Antwerp was started.
It's been around for 200 years. Antwerp's changed a lot as a city. The sectors of Antwerp has grown tremendously. Tell us more about it.
Well, in Antwerp, of course, we've got the diamond sector. You know that better than me, which has gone through a lot of changes over time. We have the port, which is actually one of the main sectors that has been important for Antwerp for ages. And then the third one is the petrochemical cluster, which is after Houston in Texas, it's the second biggest petrochemical cluster in the world.
What you've understood is that different segments have different issues and you address them differently. That's a really cool way to see it.
Our objective is to help entrepreneurs to succeed in a globalizing economy. And we start with people that want to become an entrepreneur. And so we start already before the ID phase. We have a program, Stand Up, which is specifically targeted towards people that want to become entrepreneurs, but have not really defined their product or their service yet. And so with use of design thinking, value proposition design, and other tools, we help them create a business proposal. And then afterwards, when they have the business proposal, we help them build their product and service, and then we help them sell it in our other programs.
Sven, you could have been doing so many different things in the economy, but you chose to work with startups, scale-ups, and innovative companies. Why?
Well, when you work together with startups, they have a drive. In the beginning, when you're already an entrepreneur for some years, your job is your passion. It's not really working. It's just doing stuff with your passion. And working together with people that are working on their passion, it's just gorgeous. These guys, they have a drive, they have energy, and instead of going home tired, you go home energized. Just because you've been talking to startups all day and you feel the energy, and the energy is really contagious.
So Sven, you're working with so many innovative companies. Innovative companies fail a lot. And then, because you've been part of the creation, you're also part of the failure. How do you deal with that?
To me, failure is just the start of another project. And it can be the start of another entrepreneurial project, or maybe you say, well, it's time for me to go and find a normal job. But I've seen entrepreneurs doing new stuff afterwards as entrepreneurs that were successful. So to me, a failure is just the start of a new beginning.
So the great thing with having this mindset is you're always in touch with people you've worked with. So over a period of time, your network has grown tremendously. And we know your net worth is your network.
But that's also the core of the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is a network of around 3,000 companies our 3,000 members. And so every customer we have, every entrepreneur we help becomes part of this larger network. And that is what puts us apart from a lot of our competitors. Our USP is this network.
So Napoleon lost the war in 1815, but he made Voka before he lost the war, thank God. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here, right? So Voka's been around for over 200 years. How has it changed in those 200 years?
Oh, it's very different. First of all, I think then the language would have been French, and now we speak Dutch. That hasn't changed. That is a change that has been in the near past.
In the 68 riots.
Yeah,
right?
around that time. Before that,
it was all French, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of French that was spoken here. But I think you can't survive for 215 years not evolving, staying the same. So sometimes when we talk to people, people have an image of us that, or a perception of us that we are an outdated, old organization. And of course, we exist already a long time, but we are definitely not outdated. We innovate every year. We are constantly evolving together with the economy and focusing on new trends. Now we're really looking at AI, at the blockchain.
So a misconception a lot of people have is Voka is for companies who are SME and larger rather than SME and smaller. Can you address that misconception?
Yeah, so our focus is mainly on B2B and growth companies. So we're not interested if you want to become a freelancer and you say, well, I want to be a freelancer until I'm 65 and then go on a pension. You're not really our target group. We want entrepreneurs that have a growth vision, that say, well, now we have a small idea, but we have a vision to become a large company.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then we also have a special target group, and these are companies that are going for high growth. And then we look mainly at sustainable and persistent high growth. This means growing more than 20% per year for a period of at least 5 years. So that means you're almost doubling every 3 years in turnover and in employees. And these companies, we have a special program for them. It's Accelero, and we help them to grow from 1 million to 5 million in 2-3 years.
Well, Sven, after working with so many different companies, would you have a feeling that the fast growth companies have the same issue as startup companies?
Since we only focus on companies that already have a turnover for that program, have a turnover of 1 million euros, they already have proven their product market fit. At the same time, you don't get there if the founding team doesn't have the same vision. What we see as a huge problem is that if you want to grow sustainable and you want to grow persistent over a long period of time, you need to have 3 main characteristics. And that is that the entrepreneur has time to look for big opportunities. If he's constantly worrying about daily operations, putting out little fires, he can't sustain a fast-growing company. So he needs to have the time to really think on the large strategy level. A second item that is really important is you need to have a management team where you can delegate these operational issues to. So that's a prerequisite for the entrepreneur having time. And the third one is you also need a really strong financial basis, because you can grow yourself into bankruptcy. If you grow too fast and you don't have enough capital, don't have enough cash flow, you will not survive.
Is Voka trying to cater to all sorts of companies?
Every entrepreneur that has an ambition for growth can come to us and we can help them.
So from the world in 200 years to something a lot more serious, Lego time. So let's go play some Legos, Sven.
Okay.
Let's go.
Parlay is a business accelerator that invests in innovative companies so that they can sell more and sell faster. Our program at Parlay is quite straightforward. We provide funding, added with the best partners, so that you can multiply your sales. And there's no hassle of moving to our locations. If you're curious as to how we can work together, do reach out to us.